The desperate cry of the stars were silent that night. The human ship floated quietly in deep space, far from Earth, far from any known colony. Captain Ray Carter sat in his chair, staring at the endless dark. The universe was too big, too empty. Or so he thought. Suddenly, a voice crackled through the ship's radio. It was weak, broken, filled with fear. "Please, someone. Help me. They took my mother. They made her a slave." The entire crew froze. It wasn't a normal message. It wasn't a warning or a call from another ship. It was the voice of a child. Ray's eyes narrowed. His hand hovered over the control panel. The voice was faint, hard to understand, but there was no mistake. It was real. "Repeat that," Ray whispered. The message played again. The same voice, the same desperate words. "Please. Someone help me. They took my mother. They made her a slave." The crew exchanged nervous looks. Their mission was simple: patrol the area and avoid trouble. They were not allowed to interfere with alien conflicts. The galaxy was full of danger. Getting involved could start a war, but Ray could not ignore that voice. There was something strange about it. The child spoke broken English, but the words were clear enough. It sounded familiar, almost human. "Where is that coming from?" Ray asked out his engineer Malik, check the system. His fingers moved fast across the screen. A few seconds later, the location appeared. "It's from that planet, sir. Coordinates locked." Ray looked at the planet. It was small, hidden in a thick cloud of mist. It didn't appear on their main star maps. The locals called it Kalen, a forgotten world. Few dared to visit. "Sir?" "We should leave it," said Malik. "This is not our fight." But Ray's heart told him otherwise. Another voice came through the radio, softer this time. "They took my mother. Please, I'm hiding. I don't want to be next." Ray's jaw tightened. His crew stayed silent, waiting for his decision. "Prepare." "To land," Ray ordered. The ship changed course and moved toward the planet. The closer they got, the more uneasy the crew became. The planet was dark, covered in fog. The cities were hidden. No clear signs of life. Ray kept hearing the child's voice in his head. "They took my mother. They made her a slave." Ray wasn't a hero. He was a soldier trained to follow rules. But some rules didn't feel right. Leaving a child alone, scared, begging for help, that didn't feel right. The ship landed in a quiet area near the edge of a forgotten town. The streets were empty. Broken buildings, cracked roads, shadows everywhere. It looked like a place forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. Ray and a few crew members stepped outside. Their eyes searched the darkness. The planet was silent. Too silent. Suddenly, a small figure appeared from the shadows. It was a child, skinny, pale, with big, scared eyes. But what shocked Ray the most, the child looked part human. The skin was slightly blue, the hair silver, but the face had human features. Are you the one who called for help?" Ray asked softly. The child nodded. Her small hands shook. Tears ran down her cheeks. "They took my mother," she whispered. "They took others too. They sell them like things." "Who took her?" Ray asked. "Slave hunters," the child said, her voice cracking. They took people. They hurt them. They will hurt me too, if they find me." Ray's fists tightened. Slave hunters. It was worse than he thought. The galaxy was full of dark corners where such monsters thrived. But Kalen was supposed to be neutral. No wars, no slavery. Clearly, that was a lie. "We'll help you," Ray promised. "You're safe now." But the child shook her head. "No one is safe," she whispered. "They control everything. They see everything. If they find you, they'll take you too." Ray's crew looked uneasy. They weren't prepared for this. But Ray had already made his choice. "We're not leaving you," Ray said firmly. The child's eyes filled with hope, but fear still gripped her. "They hide my mother in the city." "In the slave market," the child said. "Many like her." "Trapped, sold, please, help them," Ray nodded slowly. He didn't know what they would face. But one thing was clear, they couldn't turn away. The human answered the call. Asterisk. The hidden planet, the planet Kalen, looked dead from above. Thick gray clouds covered the sky, making it hard to see the ground. But beneath that mist, something darker waited, something hidden from the rest of the galaxy. As the human ship touched down, Captain Ray Carter couldn't shake the feeling that they had just walked into a trap. His crew was nervous. Even their ship's AI gave silent warnings. But Ray had already made his choice. That child's broken voice still echoed in his mind. "They took my mother. They made her a slave." The town they landed near was quiet. Buildings leaned like tired old bones. Roads were cracked, and the air smelled of smoke and fear. People avoided eye contact. They moved quickly, heads down, as if afraid of being seen. The child, her name was Selah, stayed close to Ray. Her small hand clutched his tightly. Her silver hair hid part of her face, but her wide, glowing eyes watched everything. This place wasn't always like this, Selah whispered. "It used to be safe before they came." "Who are they?" Ray asked quietly. "Hunters," she replied. "They steal people, sell them, hurt them." Ray's jaw tightened. The word slavery disgusted him. He had seen dark parts of the galaxy, but this, taking helpless families, children, it was worse than war. Locals whispered as they passed. Some stared at Ray's human face with fear, others with silent hope. A few even made small signs with their hands, old symbols for help, but no one dared speak aloud. Shops were closed. Markets empty. Posters hung on broken walls, showing the face of an alien lord, a tall, sharp-featured being with cruel yellow eyes. His name wasn't written, but everyone seemed to know who ruled here. "They control everything," Selah said softly. "Even the air, even the people." As they walked deeper into the town, Ray noticed cameras on every corner. Drones hovered quietly in the sky watching. It wasn't just fear. This planet was a prison. Selah led them through narrow alleys, past hidden doors and quiet homes. They finally stopped behind a broken wall, away from the watching drones. "My mother is in the market," Selah whispered. But not a real market, the slave market, underground. Ray's heart sank. Underground markets meant one thing. The real rulers didn't care, or worse, they were part of it. "Where exactly?" Ray asked. Selah pointed toward a large building at the town's edge. It looked abandoned from outside, walls cracked, windows shattered. But the guards standing nearby told a different story. Ray's crew exchanged tense looks. "Getting in wouldn't be easy. They took many from my village," Selah added, her voice shaking. "Not just my mother, children too, elders. They never come back." Ray clenched his fists. The rules said to stay out of alien problems, but this wasn't just an alien problem. This was slavery. And slavery was every human's enemy. "We're getting your mother back," Ray promised. Selah's eyes filled with hope, but fear still lingered. "You don't understand," she whispered. "If they find you, you won't leave alive." Ray looked at the guards in the distance. They were heavily armed, cold, trained killers, but Ray had been in worse places. And he wasn't leaving until he kept his word. The hidden planet had shown its true face, and Ray Carter was ready to face it. The slave market. The building looked dead from outside. Cracked walls, shattered windows, rust eating the metal doors. But Captain Ray Carter had seen enough in his life to know sometimes death hides life. Or worse evil. Selah, the little alien child, stayed hidden in the shadows behind him. Her eyes, wide with fear, never left the building. "It's not a market like you know," she whispered. "It's where they sell people like things, like animals." Ray's jaw tightened. He hated this place already. 2 guards stood. At the entrance, tall, armored, faces hidden behind black masks. They carried sleek alien weapons, dangerous, advanced. Not the kind of guards you find at a fruit stand. Ray scanned the street. The locals walked fast, heads low. No one looked at the building. No one wanted trouble. No one wanted to disappear. Hidden slave market was real. Ray couldn't storm in with his crew. That would bring the whole planet's attention. But there was another way. The old way. He would play their game, disguise, patience, and lies. He walked back to his ship, his mind racing. Inside, his crew waited, nervous but ready. "We go in as buyers," Ray said firmly. His engineer, Malik, frowned. "Captain, you sure about this? These people, they don't play fair." Ray's eyes darkened. "Neither do I." An hour later, Ray stood before the building again. His outfit was different now, rough, worn like a trader from some distant world, his human face covered in a hood. In his hand, a forged ID, good enough to fool any scanner. The guards scanned him from head to toe. Their yellow eyes glowed behind the masks. For a moment, Ray thought they saw through him. Then, the doors opened. Inside, the air was heavy, thick with smoke, greed, and something else. Fear. Rows of cages lined the walls. Beings from dozens of species trapped behind bars. Some cried. Some stared blankly. Some were too weak to move. The market buzzed with quiet voices, buyers, traders, and monsters dressed as merchants. Credits exchanged hands. Life was sold like property. Ray's stomach turned, but he kept his face cold. He walked slowly, scanning every cage. His mission was clear: find Selah's mother, but what he saw made his blood boil. A small girl, barely older than Selah, locked behind a steel cage. Her eyes swollen from crying. Her tiny arms covered in bruises. An old alien man, skin gray, too weak to stand. His price tag hung around his neck like a curse. A family, a mother, a father, a baby, all caged like animals. And then, Ray saw her, Selah's mother. She was different from the others. Her face marked with bruises, her silver hair tangled and dirty. But her eyes, sharp, filled with quiet fire. The price tag around her neck made Ray's anger rise. Like she was a simple object. But Ray forced himself to stay calm. He couldn't save her now, not yet. Not without a plan. As he moved closer, a voice stopped. "Him, you're far from home, human." Ray turned slowly. An alien stood behind him, tall, sleek, dressed in fine dark clothes. His face was sharp, handsome, but his yellow eyes, cold, dead inside. "I deal with many kinds," the alien continued, smiling. "But humans, they rarely come here." Ray stayed quiet. His mind calculated every word, every move. The alien smiled wider. "Don't worry, you're welcome here. As long as you follow the rules." Ray nodded slowly, pretending to play along. But inside, his blood boiled. He had seen enough. This wasn't just a market. It was a nightmare hidden in plain sight, and Ray Carter was done watching. The dangerous deal. The air inside the slave market was poison. Not the kind that burns your lungs, but the kind that burns your soul. Ray Carter could feel it. The quiet suffering. The cold greed. The death of hope. And now, he stood face to face with the one who controlled it all. The alien lord. His name wasn't spoken openly, but everyone knew him. Tall, sharp-featured, with skin like dark stone and glowing yellow eyes that never blinked. He looked like a leader, dressed in expensive fabrics and carrying himself like a king. But behind that smooth smile, Ray saw only a predator. You're a bold one, human, the alien lord said, circling Ray like a hungry animal. Coming here? Alone. What is it you're looking for? A strong worker? A pretty companion? Or maybe? His eyes narrowed, sharp as knives. You came for something you shouldn't. Ray kept his face unreadable. His heart pounded, but his voice stayed steady. I came for business, Ray replied. Just like everyone else. The alien lord laughed softly, but there was no joy in it. Only danger. Business, the lord repeated. Good. Business keeps my world running. Around them, the market buzzed, chains rattling, credits exchanging hands, quiet cries from cages. But Ray's focus stayed on the lord, behind the lord's shoulder. Ray caught a glimpse of Selah's mother. She was weak but alive. Her eyes met his, hopeful. But afraid. Ray forced himself to look away. He couldn't show his true reason yet. The alien lord walked closer, his voice lower now. But you see, human, we've had trouble lately. Outsiders, poking around, asking questions. His smile faded, replaced by sharp suspicion. You're not one of them, are you? Ray's muscles tensed. One wrong word, one wrong move, and they'd tear him apart. I don't care about politics, Ray lied smoothly. I care about business, credits, that's all. The lord studied him for a moment, yellow eyes searching for cracks. Finally, he stepped back, his dangerous smile returning. Good. I like simple men, the lord said. Follow me. Let's see if we can make a deal. Ray followed him deeper into the market. The walls grew darker, the cages more tightly packed. The cries softer, as if hope had long died here. The Lord showed him different captives, strong workers, rare species, even young ones with special abilities. Ray pretended to look interested, but inside his mind was racing. Every second. He stayed, the risk grew, but then he saw her again, Selah's mother, closer this time, just behind a row of guards. Her eyes burned with quiet strength, even through her pain. The alien lord noticed Ray's glance. His sharp smile returned. Ah, I see what caught your eye, the lord chuckled darkly. She's special, strong blood, rare breed. Ray's stomach turned with disgust, but he hid it well. Price? Ray asked simply. The lord's smile widened. For her, not cheap. But for the right customer, maybe a deal. Ray nodded slowly, playing the part. But in his heart, the plan was already forming. He wasn't buying a slave. He was stealing hope back. And before the night ended, the alien lord would learn humans make the most dangerous deals. Asterisk the escape. Plan Captain Ray Carter had seen many dark places in the galaxy, but nothing like this. The deeper he went into the slave market, the heavier the air felt, thick with chains, whispers, and the quiet sound of hope dying. But hope wasn't dead. Yet. Not while Ray was here. He had seen Selah's mother locked behind the guards. Her weak body bruised, her eyes tired, but the fire inside her still burned. Ray had made a silent promise. He would not leave without her, but getting her out wasn't easy. The slave market wasn't just cages and buyers, it was guarded like a fortress. Hidden cameras, armed soldiers, scanners everywhere. A wrong step, and he wouldn't leave alive. Ray returned to his ship under the cover of shadows. His crew gathered around him, their faces tense. They're watching everything, Ray said quietly. We can't storm in, but we can outsmart them. Malik, his engineer, frowned. How? We're outnumbered, outgunned. Ray's eyes darkened. We're not alone. The plan was dangerous, risky, maybe even foolish. But it was their only chance. Ray knew there were others, slaves hidden in the shadows, waiting for a sign, waiting for a chance. The market was full of suffering, but also full of anger. Quiet, buried, but ready to explode. It was time to light the fire. That night, Ray moved through the hidden alleys of the city. He whispered to the right people, passed secret signals, made promises. You want freedom? He asked them. Help me, and I'll help you. Fear filled their eyes, but so did something else. The spark of courage. Whispers spread like wildfire. The slaves, the broken families, the quiet rebels, they started to believe. For the first time in years, they saw hope. Meanwhile, Selah stayed hidden aboard the ship, her small hands clenched in worry. They'll kill you, she had warned Ray. They always do. Anyone who tries. Ray had only smiled. Then let them try. The plan was simple, but deadly. While Ray pretended to complete his deal with the alien lord, his crew would disable the market's power grid. At the same time, the hidden rebels would unlock the cages. And when the lights went out, they would run. But running wasn't enough. The guards were strong. The alien lord, Ruthless. They needed a distraction. Something big? Something loud. Ray had an idea. At the center of the market stood a huge generator. Old, unstable, but still powering the whole place. If that thing went down, chaos would follow. The escape wouldn't be quiet. It would be a storm. Time was running out. The slave ship, the one carrying Selah's mother and others, was leaving at dawn. If they failed, she was gone forever. Ray checked his weapon, his eyes cold with focus. The risk was high, but some things were worth the risk. A child's hope, a mother's freedom, a promise to fight. Even when the odds were against them, the escape plan was set now. They just had to survive it. The fight for freedom. The market never slept. Guards patrolled the halls. Cameras blinked from the dark corners. Chains rattled quietly in the distance. But tonight, something was different. Tonight, the air smelled of rebellion. Ray Carter moved through the crowd like a shadow. His face hidden, his steps silent. His crew was in position. The hidden rebels were ready. The plan wasn't perfect, but it didn't need to be. It just needed to be loud. Ray's fingers tightened around the small remote in his pocket, the one linked to the market's unstable generator. With one press, the whole place would fall into darkness. Above him, the alien lord stood on a balcony, watching his empire with cold eyes. He smiled, thinking he was untouchable. He didn't know. His empire was about to burn. Ray took a deep breath. It was time. The button clicked. Instantly, the lights exploded into sparks. The room plunged into darkness. Shouts filled the air. The guards stumbled. The buyers panicked. And then, the cages opened. A wave of desperate energy swept through the market. The prisoners, weak but burning with anger, pushed past the guards. Fists flew. Chains became weapons. Years of fear turned into raw fury. The guards fought back. Their weapons fired blindly. But the rebels were everywhere. Ray moved fast through the chaos. His eyes locked on one target, Selah's mother. She stood, weak but defiant, ready to fight. But danger was closing in. The alien lord had activated his private guards, tall, armored, creatures bred for war. Their red eyes glowed in the dark. Their weapons hissed with deadly energy. One of them grabbed Selah's mother. Ray's heart raced. Without thinking, he charged forward. His blaster fired. The guard fell. He grabbed Selah's mother's hand, pulling her toward the exit. But it wasn't over. More guards blocked the way. The alien lord's cold voice echoed through the dark. "You should have stayed out of this, human." Ray ignored him. His only mission was to get her out, to keep his promise. The rebels fought fiercely. Some fell. Some broke free. The market turned into a battlefield. Ray's crew joined the fight, covering his escape. Blasters flashed. Explosions shook the ground. The slave market crumbled piece by piece, but time was running out. The alien lord himself stepped into the fight now, his yellow eyes glowing with rage. His weapon was unlike anything Ray had seen. Sharp, fast, deadly. The Lord's guards pushed forward. Ray fought back, every shot, every move fueled by the promise he made. For Selah, for her mother, for every soul trapped in this nightmare. The fight wasn't fair. The enemy was stronger, better armed, but Ray had something they didn't. The will to fight for the helpless. The courage to stand when others ran. The human spirit that never gives up. As the market walls collapsed and the fires burned, Ray and the freed slaves pushed through the smoke toward the only thing that mattered now. Freedom, a promise, kept the fires still burned behind them. The screams, the explosions, the broken walls of the slave market, all fading now as the human ship rose into the sky. They had done it. Captain Ray Carter stood in the control room, his face tired but his eyes steady. Around him, the rescued slaves sat quietly, some still shaking, others staring out at the stars as if they'd forgotten how wide the universe truly was. But the one face Ray searched for was already there. Selah ran to her mother, her small arms wrapping around her waist tightly. Her mother dropped to her knees, holding her child like she'd never let go again. Tears rolled down both their faces, but this time, they weren't tears of fear. They were tears of hope. Ray watched them silently. He had seen enough of the galaxy to know happy endings were rare. But tonight, at least, they had won one small victory. The alien lord's empire lay in ruins. His guards defeated, his market destroyed. But Ray knew it wouldn't be the end. Men like him always crawled back from the shadows. Slavery, greed, cruelty, they never truly vanished. But neither did people like Ray, people who answered the call when no one else would. Selah walked toward him now, her small hand reaching for his. You came," she whispered. "You really came." Ray knelt down to her level. "I promised, didn't I?" Her eyes sparkled with quiet pride. "You're not like them. The others, you're different." Ray smiled, but there was no pride in his heart, only the knowledge that they had done what was right. Selah's mother stepped forward, her voice weak but firm. "Thank you for giving me back my child, for giving us hope." Ray simply nodded. Outside, the stars stretched forever, cold and silent. But tonight, they didn't feel so empty. As the ship sailed through the dark, Ray made a silent vow. As long as he lived, no one would take the helpless. And somewhere, watching from the shadows, the galaxy listened. Because one small human had answered the call, and the galaxy would never forget.